And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back tonight my friend and amazing author, Kaira Rouda, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book out next week, Jill Is Not Happy. Kaira, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Thank you so much, Sara. You're so enthusiastic. It makes me want to stand up and talk and stuff.
Yay!
Jill Is Not Happy is a marriage thriller. I love marriage thrillers. I've written several of them, and this one is by far my favorite. She is a crazy character, but also I think really fun too. So Jack and Jill are a married couple. They've been together for a very long time, since college. Their oldest daughter, their only daughter, Maggie, is off to college, and so they are empty nesting, and Jill suggests a romantic road trip to the Utah National Parks to reconnect. And Jack would rather do anything than spend any more time with his beloved wife. And that's kind of how we start.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have a lot of questions and I can't wait to get into all of them. But first, I just want to welcome everybody because we are broadcasting live to seven different destinations. So, hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday, and because Mondays can be murder, we are going to make them a little less painful and get your week off to a killer start. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome. Here's the drill. Every Monday for hashtag Mystery Monday, I give you the inside scoop on a book either the night or the week before it comes out, and you get to ask the author anything. So ask Kaira, what is going on with Jill? Why ain't she happy? Ask her about this road trip, how it came to be about. I have a feeling maybe Kaira was on a road trip with her husband and was having some murderous thoughts. I don't know, or maybe that's just me. Any questions that you have going on, just get them going in the comments. We have Margaret Pinard, our fellow author, joining us from Portland, Oregon. Hey, Margaret. We have Robin joining us from Facebook saying, hi, Sara and Kaira. Hi, Robin. We have Renee saying, hi, Kaira and Sara from stormy Southeast Florida. I did pre-order the Jill Is Not Happy box. I can't wait to receive it. I will be watching later. Have fun. Renee, so good to see you. Sharon is joining us live from YouTube saying, hi, girls. So nice to see you both. Hi, Sharon. So good to have you. Margaret is saying Utah National Park, a good way to go. Wink. Okay, so Kaira, let's back this road trip bus up and talk about how the heck you came up with this idea. Were you by chance having murderous thoughts on a road trip, wanting to throttle poor Harvey or Jack? Tell us everything.
Yeah, it's funny because I have been married a long time, and my husband is a good sport. He tells me he sleeps with one eye open because I write these kind of thrillers. But yes, in fact, he suggested a trip to the Utah National Parks during the pandemic, and so we're off and visiting amazing scenery. Like, the geography is incredible. Never seen anything like it. And we're in Bryce Canyon, and I find these things, the hoodoos. If you've been there, they're like just sandstone sculptures, and it looks like, I don't know, soldiers standing in these huge canyon, and it's super beautiful. And also, as the sun's setting, super creepy. I started imagining, wow, this would be a good place to maybe kill somebody, fictionally speaking, of course.
Wait, what is a hoodoo?
I know, isn't that the best name? It's sandstone sculptures that, over time, they've been worn down by the rain and the winds and stuff. So if you see a picture, Google hoodoo, and I mean, even the name, right? And you can walk around through HOODOO.
Oh, I thought we were doing remember that movie from the 80s, Hoodoo? You do. Remember what was
we're doing hoodoos, HOODOO. And they're
okay.
They're like sandstone sculptures, and you can walk down through them, and they're, they tower above you, and also they're a little crumbly, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I love that place.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's talk about your character, Jill. Her favorite drink is an almond latte. Kaira, I was like, wait a minute, is Kaira's favorite drink an almond latte? Or how close to the truth are we hewing here?
We are not skewing close to the truth. Kaira likes black coffee, but Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah,
Okay.
just black. But Jill, for some reason, that's what she wanted to order. So I let her as I was writing.
Okay. Okay. Diane is joining us on Facebook. She says, hello from New Jersey. Hi, Diane. Welcome to the conversation. Okay, Kaira, this book is not your first rodeo. So tell us, as an experienced author, as an award-winning and best-selling author, what have you learned from book one to Jill is Not Happy that you have learned along the way? What do you wish you knew then?
Gosh, I know it's been quite a while. So this is book 23. So I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was going to say book 7, 23.
yeah, because I know, right? It's crazy. I had a nonfiction book for women entrepreneurs, and then I spent some time writing women's fiction. And then I had 2 years in romance, which I loved all the people I met there, but I found out I couldn't write sex scenes, so I had to get out of the romance. So then, then I had Best Day Ever was kind of my breakout thriller mystery book. So that I know it's crazy. So it's been a long time, but it's also been just such a learning ride, I guess I would say. The thing I would tell my um, younger, more eager and self would be the key to this whole business, I think, is resilience and believing in your story and not giving up believing in your story no matter what. And I guess that's what I would say. Yeah.
Resilience in terms of, because this is a rejection filled business, or in what way resilience?
I think well, in every way. So yeah, from the notion that while it's a creative business, it's also a business, right? So you start with writing what you love, hopefully, and you work hard on your manuscript, but then it has to go through all those different filters. So yes, that's full of rejection because it's a subjective industry looking at creative product, and it has to be because it's a business. So yeah, and I think that what I've learned over all these years is just that. Like if this is your dream to write, and then the only way your dream's not going to come true is if you don't believe in yourself.
Mm. Well, I think everyone is as shocked as I am that this is book 23. Sharon is saying, wowza, 23. Margaret is saying, I am on number 8. Hats off to you. Renee is saying, book 23. Wow. I mean, I think we're all just so shocked. And we're going to need to know more about these 23 books. Renee wants to know, wait, did you write the romance ones under your own name?
I did. I'm a real big, my first book was really, you incorporated 8 essentials for women entrepreneurs. And I'm a really big proponent about you are your brand and your brand is you. So no matter what you're doing in the world, I guess I kind of decided instead of having a pen name for my romance books, I would just write under Kaira Rouda. And I've kind of just kept that principle all along. I know a lot of people in different genre industries use a pen name, but to me, I just always kind of been me.
Okay, we need more information. Clearly, Sharon is saying, wait a minute. Did you say you started writing a romance? If so, when did you start writing thrillers? I think this is such a big leap for so many of us. I think out of Kaira, I think I've done close to 500 interviews in the past 5 years. You are only the second that has gone from romance to thrillers, Serena Bowen being the other. So let's drill into Sharon's question here.
Okay,
What made you want to switch? What made you want to switch? When did you start thrillers? I mean, from love and happily ever after to murder and not happily ever after.
right. It's so funny. So my first novel was Here Home Hope, and it was a women's fiction novel, and it's about a woman having a midlife crisis, and so she created a Things to Change list. It's pretty sweet, still set in the suburbs. A little bit of darkness goes on, but not too much. And from there, everything just started getting darker. And so my next book was called In the Mirror, and then followed by All the Difference. While I had a new agent that I was working with, and she had suggested a women's fiction series about a group of moms who wanted to change the school cafeteria and insert a food, like a salad bar. So I was working on that, and my friend Jane Porter, she had just launched her own romance imprint called Thule. And she said, have you ever tried romance? I'm like, I haven't. Maybe I'll try that too. So I wrote a romance series for her called Indigo Island. And that was a 4-book series. And then I also wrote a Laguna Beach series. But as I noted, I would go to the romance conferences and it was all about sex everywhere. Not all about sex, but it was very sexy, right? And I am not good at all of that. I would just turn bright red. But while I was at
You're
my
pretty
last,
good just thinking about it. You're
I
like,
am. It's not, it was just, so while I was at the last romance writers conference that I went to in Cincinnati, I had an appointment set up with an editor, like, cause you could go meet editors, and she's at a romance conference as well. And she says, so what are you working on? And at this point, Paul Strom, The Best Day Ever, had popped into my head. I'm like, actually, I'm working on a marriage thriller. And she's like, you're at a romance conference. I'm like, I realized that. Yep, I do know that. So anyway, she's like, well, it sounds interesting. Keep me in mind if you finish it. So long story short, I finished Best Day Ever, sent it to my agent. She said, I don't read thrillers and suspense. Those scare me. I can't read it. So that was sad. So then I went to one of my close friends, Andrea Katz, who said, you know what, this is the best book you've written. You need to send it back to her. So I go back to Katie. I'm like, Katie, can you please try it? And long story short, she was in New York. I woke up the next morning and she'd read it and she was all excited about selling it. And we ended up selling it to the editor that I met at the romance conference. I know, she was with Graydon House. So that's how it worked out.
oh my God. Thank you for these questions, you guys. And thank you for the answers, Kara. And I just picture you. I've never been to a romance conference. So I'm just picturing you like walking around with like, I don't know, scandalous, naked, barely clothed men in loincloths fanning you with palm. I don't know what happens at romance.
And a lot of the I mean, I'm like, what do we say? It wasn't the right fit. But like I said, I really loved all the other authors. Everybody was great. And I even gave a speech at the conference about putting the real you into your writing business as authors. So anyway, it was a great time, but I had to skedaddle to the darker side. So
oh my God. Does anyone else want to see a t-shirt that says I had to skedaddle to the darker side? Oh my God. Can anyone else see that on a t-shirt? I can. That is t-shirt worthy. Margaret is saying, wait a minute. So Kara started in fiction just like Sara, Kismet, totally. And we both were corporate women as well, business women starting off in the corporate world. So I think we realized that in interview number 1. This is interview number 5, I think. And we did realize, and I was like, and so few writers also started in the corporate world. So we had that in common as well, Margaret, which was kind of crazy. Renee is saying that is so great, Kara. I know, I love this background information. I'm just thinking, like, as I, getting ready to head to Thriller Fest, where I will see Kara in person, and I every year do this trail of bloody footprints to my interrogation room. I'm thinking at a romance conference, I would do like a trail of hearts or something to the romance room. Oh no, that sounds wrong, but something,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it would probably be a little more edgy than hearts from my experience.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Talking about it though. Nope.
Margaret is saying, because writer's gonna write. Exactly. No matter what you're writing, you are writing. Exactly. Loving this. Okay. We love a life fix. A list to fix a life. Totally. I would do that. Renee is weighing in. She's not a fan of the pen names. I know, because then you're like, wait, what was her name? And then I mean, someone just DM'd me, how dare you not use my writer name? I'm like, who is this? I can't keep track of all the writer names. Oh my gosh. You guys, I did want to remind everybody that the book is not even out yet. Kara is coming on to give us the inside sneak peek into Jill Is Not Happy. And you can order tonight from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. And whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, here is that link to click and pre-order your copy of Jill Is Not Happy. And I do want to get into some of the praise. Margaret is saying rose petals would be good for instead of the bloody footprints. Robin is saying she's really looking forward to this newest book, Kara. It sounds like you have a fan here, which is so great. And I want to dip in now to some of this praise because you've gotten so much. So first of all, from Publishers Weekly, who raves Rouda spins. I'm going to pop this up so we can all take a peek at it together. A dark, because remember she skedaddled to the dark side. A dark, deliberately paced tale of matrimonial hell. The plot's unanswered questions and Gone Girl style marital insights hold the reader's interest. Okay. So, Kaira, you first of all, congratulations on such a great review from PW. Now, having been married, as you said, for a while yourself, are you drawing? Do you ever say to Harvey, this will make good material for the book if you don't wash those dishes and you end up dead? I mean, how are you drawing from that for your marital insights?
I mean, as a long married person, and of course you draw from your own marriage, but I think what I feel is really commonplace is the fact that, especially these days with social media, everybody tries to act like their marriage is perfect, and the perfect marriage is a perfect illusion, and it's been that way since the beginning of time, and certainly since my first marriage thriller. So I think that's what fascinates people, because when you read one of my marital thrillers, I think as a married person, it probably makes you feel really glad you're not married to one of these two people. Like, you probably wouldn't want to be married to Jack or to Jill. So I don't know if it's that kind of voyeurism that is like, okay, at least we're not that bad. So compared to Jack and Jill, Harley and I are doing great. So that's good. I do think it's kind of closer to home in the book The Widow, because he was in Congress at the time that I wrote that book, and it was about a cheating congressman whose wife,
We remember.
Yes. So that was more close to our storyline at the time, which the staff wasn't that great about. Not that he cheated, just about the whole congressional situation. So anyway, so that was fun. But yeah, there's definitely inspiration all around in the suburbs, anywhere.
Ooh, I like that. Kim is joining us from Facebook. She says, "I can't wait to read this book." Yay, Kim. Well, we've got copies for you tonight from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. And Sharon is saying, "Kaira, I will see you at an Unlikely Story on June 12th. I'm looking forward to it." So, fun fact, Sharon has been here with me for 5 years on Mavens, and we finally met in person at an Unlikely Story when I hosted Lisa Unger's book launch there last February. And she was like, "It's me, Sharon." And I was like, "It's me, Sara." And it was so fun. So I'm so excited for you guys to meet there at that magical independent bookstore.
Yay.
Yay.
Really great, Sharon.
Yay. Oh, no worries, Sharon. We knew you know how to spell Kaira. I didn't even notice. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get back to some of this praise. So Book List raves, and I want to talk about this one, Kaira, because they are talking about your ability to create a genuinely chilling narrator. And the thing that I've learned as a writer, and actually as a reader too, is that it's actually really hard to scare people. It's actually hard to be chilling. So what can you tell us, 23 books in, what's the secret?
Being chilling. I guess I would say, now I wasn't chilling in romance or in women's fiction, but since I've gotten skedaddled to the dark side, I would say probably the most chilling parts of a suspense or thriller are what's not said. To me, that would be.
Ooh, that is so interesting, because I'm actually a scaredy cat. And when I think about when I feel scared, it's not because I see something terrifying. It's because it's what I don't see something. Like, I feel like somebody's watching me from outside and I don't see them, but I can feel their eyes on me, or I imagine that I do. That's so interesting. So do you deliberately write that way, of what is unseen or unsaid?
I think so. I think, this book starts out, like I said, with the road trip to Utah. And so you've got a really contained setting for your main characters.
Well, it starts out with a flashback.
Well, yeah, that's true. It does start out with a flashback, but then the scene kind of flips. But all through the book, I think there's a lot of things between Jack and Jill that have been left unsaid. And some of those are the secrets that have been holding them together, and some are just what people think about their spouse when they're kind of tired of their spouse, I think. So there's just a lot of that unsaid facts. I mean, Jack has his side of the story and Jill has her side of the story, and what's between them is not cohesive at all.
Indeed, which is very actually accurate. Between any, and if you ever hear, my husband, if you're retelling a story, I said it was this. No, I said it was that. It's like, were we at the same party? I don't know. Ooh, interesting question. Robin wants to know, are either of you huggers or do you prefer to keep a little space? Kaira.
I'm a hugger.
Robin, I'm an Italian woman. Of course I am a hugger. If we are not hugging, I'm like, are you mad at me? Why aren't we hugging? Like I'm a huge hugger. I love to hug. And when I met, actually, you know what? One of the loveliest compliments that anyone has ever given me is when I met May Cobb at Thriller Fest a couple of years ago. And I was, of course, gave her a hug because I'm a hugger. And she was like, Sara, your hugs are like medicine. And I was like, this is the kindest thing anyone's ever said to me. One of the kindest things anyone's ever said. Okay. Oh, good. We have some other huggers in the audience. Yay. Okay. I wanted to talk about this review from Liv Constantine, and she talks about your ability to craft character. She says nobody crafts a character like Kaira Rouda. So, Kaira, I want to talk about, oops, that's a really long one. I'm just going to keep it in the comments so it's not covering our face. So, Kaira, can you tell us about the process of crafting a character, especially one that is as wily, shall we say, as Jill? What is that? Are you doing the character? Some people have these like character sketchbooks where like, Jill likes almond lattes. Jill would never eat broccoli. Like, I mean, how do you create these characters that Liv Constantine, best-selling author, is, whose movie rights just got acquired by, Robert Zemeckis? Like, what she's praising your ability to create characters. Tell us about that.
Well, they're great. What a great team. I do not have a character sketch book at all for my characters. They pretty much jump into my head. I get like a title and a setting, and then a character will pop into my head, and then I kind of go for it. As a pantser or a developmental writer, as I've heard it called now, which sounds so much better, things kind of develop on the page as I begin to write. So there's when Jill decides to order an almond latte, she just does that on her own while I'm writing, which is weird.
It is weird because if she's imaginary, where is that coming from? Right? Like I write real people. I know what they like because I find it in the historical record. But where is that coming from, do you think, Kaira?
I don't know. I mean, that's the whole fun, though. I have no idea. And it's just such a surprise. Like, they surprise me all the time, these characters and their choices and what they say. So, yeah, it's baffling, but fun.
Because if Jill and Jack are jumping into your head, I'm sorry for you, Kaira. I mean, they're scary sometimes.
They are a little scary. And yeah, I think my daughter is always like, Mom, why are you writing such dark stories? I think it's just a way to process the world. And, the world doesn't, like, it's not always nice out there, and things happen. And it's not like a direct representation of what you see in the world, but it's definitely some kind of interpretation in my brain that creates these characters.
I was just in a store. I was handing out flyers for the Nantucket Book Festival in a store, and the cashier said to me, he said, "Oh, my mother-in-law is an author." And I said, "Oh, cool. What does she write?" And he told me, and he said, "Yeah, she named a character after me, Nick. His name is Nick." And I was like, "Oh, was Nick a good guy?" And he was like, "Weirdly, Nick wasn't. He cheated on his wife and slept with all the other women in the book." And I was like, "Nick, that ain't good." Like, that's not good, Nick. Your mother-in-law made you the bad guy. That's not good. And he was like, "Yeah, I always wondered about that, actually."
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's I don't know what she's trying to tell Nick, but clearly something.
Something. I would like to be at that Thanksgiving dinner this year. I would stir the pot. I would skedaddle into I'd be like, tell us, I would be stirring that pot. So Nick, tell us why.
Well, what were you thinking, Mom?
Pass the stuffing and also tell us what's going on. Kimberly Bell also had some wonderful words to say. She said, mix 1 part family dynamics and Rouda's trademark dark humor, and you get the heady cocktail that is Jill is not happy. So first of all, Kara, do you have a dark sense of humor that DiVello doesn't know about?
I do, I guess. Or my characters do, I shall say, because I do find that's a very common through line with all of my books. My characters, especially the naughty ones, when they're up to no good, they might be telling you a joke to distract you and keep you away from the fact of what they're actually up to. So I had a woman today say, I was laughing. I'm not supposed to laugh when I'm reading a thriller. I'm sorry. And she goes, oh no, it's great. I don't even like thrillers. And now I'm going to read yours. I'm like, well, thank you. So
you brought her over to the dark side.
Did bring her. She's skedaddling into the dark side.
You skedaddled on over. You did it, Kara. You brought someone over.
Yeah, one reader at a time. Come to the dark side. Yeah.
Oh my God. Renee is saying, poor Nick. I know, poor freaking Nick. Except, is Nick innocent? Maybe not. We don't know.
Maybe
Sharon,
she's telling this true story of Nick.
Indeed. Sharon wants to know, since you are a pantser, do your characters keep you up at night talking to you?
Yes, definitely. They do, because especially when I'm in the first draft and they're just so present in my brain, I'll wake up and someone's saying, oh, I have an idea. And so they'll do that. They also talk to me a lot in the shower. There's a lot of shower thoughts that come from them.
Like what? What's a shower thought?
It's like a plot point or something maybe they wanted to order at a restaurant, or it could be anything. It's just but they'll talk to me in the shower a lot too.
You know what's interesting, Kara, is my old neighbor in my apartment that I used to share a wall with used to teach at Harvard. She taught creativity at Harvard Business School. And she said that the 3 places that people have creative thoughts most often is when they're in the shower, when they're driving, and when they're about to fall asleep. And it's because your front brain is distracted on whatever, and then the creative part of your brain is free to come out and frolic. So actually, it's totally normal that you have shower thoughts.
That's awesome. I've never heard the explanation for it, but I'm glad it's normal.
Get back in that shower. If you're ever stuck, just start get in there. Or start driving. Oh my God, I love it.
Good writing advice. Yeah.
Good writing advice. Take a shower.
We'll take a shower. It'll fix everything. Just go take a shower.
Oh my gosh. I want to talk about this review from Robin Harding, who says, I love everything that Kaira Rouda writes. And Jill is not happy is no exception. Jill is not just not happy. She's creepy. Creepy Jill. Which is funny because we have lovely, blonde, bubbly Kara here. But inside we know that Harvey, her husband, sleeps with one eye open and she's skedaddled to the dark side. How do you write a woman who is creepy? And do you struggle with, did you worry that she wasn't likable enough? I know a lot of people worry about that. Let's talk about that.
I don't worry about that. I love unreliable, unlikable characters. I mean, I want them to be likable for certain reasons. I don't want you to hate her, although at some points in the story, perhaps you can. But I think complex characters have to be unreliable and need to be, if everybody's reliable, that's not fun to read about. I mean, unless you like romance, and then you should read that, But in mysteries and thrillers, I think it's really fun to have unreliable people around.
That is interesting. I haven't heard that. I like that. Complex characters have to be unreliable. Say more about that. Why do they have to be unreliable, Kara?
Because we all are unreliable. That's how life is, right?
Unreliable? DiVello's reliable, I think.
I think so. I mean, so you're probably mostly reliable, but I just have a feeling that in some cases, or in most cases, most people aren't reliable all the time. They're going to tell a white lie to make somebody feel better, or they're going to, gloss over a semi-truth or whatever it is. And I don't mean you have to be diabolical like my characters, but there's a little bit of unreliability in everybody, even if it's just on your social media posts, you're putting a filter on. I don't know. There's just stuff.
Oh my God, I do that. I did. Today I posted it was not filtered, and I was like, man, I should have filtered those under-eye bags.
Oh, and talk about your post for Jill is not happy. How did you do that?
Okay. I skedaddled to the dark side. I can't reveal my dark magic ways, Kaira Rouda. Except I'll totally reveal it. You just walk up to a door frame and you slump against it. Then you change that outfit. You hide behind the door and you drop that outfit. Then you get your second outfit. You drop that outfit. Then you put your second outfit on, lean against the door frame and push off. And then you put the second outfit drop in reverse and you put all the clips together and voila, making the book magic happen.
It was amazing. I was like, how did you do that? Yeah, it was really cool. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're so welcome. I felt like I had to step it up a notch for you, my friend, because I was like, I actually really have fun with videos. Like my favorite part of going to the movies is obviously the popcorn but the previews. I love previews. And so I love to do these little book videos that are fun and cool and creative and a little bit, I have fun with it. So when I was like, okay, it's my friend Kara coming back for, I think the 5th time, I got to do something fun and special. I wanted to step it up for you. And so thank you for appreciating that. I love that you loved it.
Oh yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Yay. All right, you guys, I'm putting the rest of Kara's amazing blurbs in the comments so you can read them at your leisure. We have Elise Hart Kipnis, A.M. Strong, Kerry Lonsdale, Crime Reads. The list goes on and on and on. We won't have time to get to all of them, but it's so nice to see all of the praise that people were just so excited to share about Kerry. About Kara, sorry, I'm reading Kerry Lonsdale, who calls you riveting and provocative, to read about Kara's newest book, Jill is Not Happy. And I just want to share again that the book is not out yet. Kara is coming on to give us the exclusive sneak peek and take all of your most pressing questions live. So here again is that link to pre-order your copy of Jill is Not Happy from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, that is Murder by the Book. So here again is that link. And while you are clicking and pre-ordering, we have time for one last question. Robin saying, at 68 years old, I do not filter anything. If someone does not like it, cool. That's not my problem. I don't like to be rude or hurtful either. Exactly. I feel like if I don't like it, I can just swipe by. No need to say anything mean. Renee wants to know, what's the last movie you saw in a theater? Kara.
That's to you, I think.
Oh, to me.
Yes.
What was the last movie that I saw? I saw the RBG movie. I haven't been to the movies in a while. I saw the RBG movie. I absolutely loved it. And my husband and I are going to go see the new Mission Impossible. We love the movies. We're big movie people. Kara, what about you? Are you a movie person?
I am, but it's embarrassing. Like going to the movie theaters has been a while. I mean, I was just trying to think. It might have been Barbie. It's my last movie.
Barbie. Oh, I saw Barbie too. I loved Barbie.
I love Barbie.
Barbie. Oh, she wanted both of us to answer it. She's letting us.
Okay. All right. So yeah.
Barbie. Oh my God, so fun. Okay, you guys, we are out of time. Time flies when you're having this much fun. So here again is that link to order Jill is Not Happy from Murder by the Book. And I hope your week is off to a killer start. May the days and the pages fly by. I will see you next week for Mystery Monday. Take very good care. Until then.